Hello everyone, my name is For Extraordinaire and welcome to an exciting little tidbit I have for you guys that I discovered while searching the Paradox forums. I usually like to keep things fairly up to date, so if I see anything in the future and if you guys really like this video, I'll make sure to show you guys more tidbits that I find in the forums. But I thought this was worth mentioning since I have a lot of viewers, at least 40%, I guess that's a lot relatively speaking, from the United States. So I thought it'd just be myself being included from the United States, I thought it'd be worth mentioning that the devs have said a little thing or a fairly significant thing about slavery and its mechanics. So I'll just read here and then try to give some of my quick thoughts and then just end the video here. But just for simplicity, he says, this is entirely emergent from the simulation, which at the moment runs a little something like this. Wealthy aristocrats are more likely to support the landowner interest group, which in the USA's case is called the Southern planters and have a pro-slavery stance. Makes sense. The American South has a lucrative plantation industry at the game's start, with potential to expand that doesn't exist in the North. Pops in incorporated states gain more political strength than pops in unincorporated states, and then wealthier pops gain more political strength on account of their wealth. More political strength means more power over the country's laws, and a stronger reaction if the player tries to move away from factored laws. So basically what I'm getting away from this in particular is that the South is going to have a lot less in terms of population and possibly voting power, but depending on how you handle cotton, which is just huge for the South, one of the reasons why they are so wealthy, I guess, at the start of the game, and historically speaking, at least before the Civil War, and before Reconstruction. But basically, one of the reasons why you have to be careful with the South if you're going for, I guess, a pro-Confederate stance, and I don't know if they'll let you side, depending, I think Victoria 2 did that, but I don't know if they'll let you decide depending on your stances. And who you favor, but you're going to have some very interesting voting blocks here. You'll have to decide to choose whether to side with the Southerners or the Northerners, and depending on how you handle this, you could possibly circumvent the Civil War, but it seems like you have to do a lot of footwork. He says here, which means that it's the relative profitability of the American South slave plantations that caused the Southern planters to have the political support they do, as they're very wealthy and influential. If the player nurtures this type of plantation economy, the institution of slavery will become an even more dominant and important fixture of U.S. politics, as we mentioned before. Whereas if they shift their economy towards manufacturing industries like in the North, and perhaps even fueled by plantations, where the aristocrats may be wealthy but not as politically empowered, or service government workers, this may be able to affect a political shift, but it seems like from what he's hinting, it's going to be a lot harder to kind of navigate away from the Civil War. I don't have too much experience with Vicky 2, but just from my brief gameplay, I've been playing it a lot actually recently. The U.S. always seems to have trouble with the Civil War. I've rarely seen them actually avoid a full-blown Civil War. So if the player is really good, if they're really experienced, it seems they'll be able to avoid the Civil War. And then, of course, there are some very interesting voting blocks. Of course, you have Republicans who are anti-slavery, and then you have the Democrats who are pretty pro-slavery. So maybe if you can try to create some kind of third party, I don't think politics have been developed too much for the base version of Victoria 3, though we have to see. But I mean, if you're able to wager some kind of compromise, maybe you're feeling like Henry Clay and kicking the tin can down the road, so to say, you could possibly do that and just stall out the Senate. But I mean, I don't know how much it's going to be worth to prolong the country's state or the state of the U.S. by 10 years. We'll have to see. Sorry about the barking in the background, but this has been basically a quick little tidbit, not exactly a full dev diary, but a little hint into the current state of the U.S., where Victoria 3 stands in something like 1833. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same start date around the coronation of Queen Victoria as Victoria 2. So with that said, I think that's everything I wanted to cover with the video. If you guys love this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll try to find some more tidbits when I can around the forums. Sometimes you guys shout things out to me, and it really helps. So with that in mind, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been For Extraordinaire, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. All right, peace.